Before we get into today's video, I just wanted to say sorry it took so long to go out. I know the point of a series is being excited for the next episode, so I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So next time I ever release an episode, it's not going to be this long after the first one, okay? I'll promise you that. Anyways, with that said, make sure you're liking and subscribing and all that good stuff. Join the Discord and whatnot. With that said, let's get on to the video. A quick recap for people from the previous episode. We have a shiny Sceptile named Digital, a shiny Lanoon named Ziggy, a Steelix named 24K, and a Scolipede named Buggy. With this team of 4, we managed to beat the 5th gym. We now have HM Surf, we just need somewhere to go. So this episode of the journey begins with me using the newly obtained HM Surf, and I used it to explore the vast region of Hoenn. Our Mega Sceptile Digital was absolutely obliterating every trainer in the way. While making our way up to Four Tree Village, we ended up finding Steven. He lets us know that he's keeping a keen eye on us, and then he flies away. From that point on, it was pretty much a straight shot right up to the Weather Institute. We picked lots of citrus berries, expertly avoided some of the harder trainers on the path, and mercilessly destroyed a suspicious little mushroom. The reason I skipped out on a lot of these really rich trainer battles was because I needed to get to the Weather Institute and save there, so that way I wouldn't have to go all the way up there again just to fight them. They are also just incredibly difficult and level scaled way beyond our Pokemon, so we would have to train up before we could go back and take all their money. After we rested up and made sure to save, we absolutely mopped the floor with a lot of these grunts. The Mega Sceptile power trip ended very quickly though, because we had to fight the Team Aqua admin. In this ROM hack, Shelly is an absolute beast. She has a Snow Warning Alolan Ninetales that sets up Aurora Veil turn 1. The rest of her team benefited from this hail extremely well. They could instant kill Sceptile with a 100% accurate Blizzard, but the majority of her Pokemon also happen to have technical moves that happen to counter my entire team, most notably being the terrifying Empoleon. After getting my butt handed to me, I decided I had to catch more team members. This was the line. I was not able to beat her with my 4 members. So I had to strategize and find the right Pokemon to bring to the team. I ultimately decided that Lucario was the best option for us. It double resists the extremely powerful Blizzard attacks, can hit Empoleon for super effective with fighting type moves, and has access to the elemental punches to take care of the rest of their team. They were an incredibly powerful option, and I knew just where to catch one. Instead, we found a different little canine companion, and he was arguably just as good. I just didn't see the potential yet. We shoved him in a Cherish Ball and named him Doug. Or at least I would have called him Doug if I spelt Doug right. Anyways, Doug joins the party as a new young face among the veteran crowd. I started training him up into a Houndoom and gave him some very powerful moves from the Move Learner. During that whole training journey, I ended up going to New Mauville, because then I could melt all the Magnemites with my Fire-type moves. I foolishly thought that I could catch a shiny Magnemite, but eventually I just decided to catch a few Magnemites for the Magnet Pull ability and save them for later. After the big training montage, I went around and picked up a lot of Oran berries. Off camera, I have actually been planting Oran berries wherever we left because they actually end up being very important in this ROM hack. There was a chef NPC at Slateport which you can give Oran berries to change your Pokemon's nature. The nature of a Pokemon buffs its stats in certain ways and nerfs them in others, which allows you to customize the stats of your Pokemon that much more. Using that, we turned Doug into an absolute beast with an insane speed and special attack stat. For whatever reason, I guess I assumed that Houndoom had bad stats, but they ended up being really good. If you attack fast and hard enough, sometimes weaknesses and resistances don't even matter. And then it hit me. What if I gave Houndoom Overheat and then used that to attack the Empoleon with all my power at once? Empoleon is both water type and steel type, so the weaknesses and resistances even out to neutral damage, which is big. Overheat is arguably the strongest single fire type attack, but it gets weaker every time you use it. So if I use it just once to obliterate Empoleon with one powerful attack, I might be able to beat Shelly once and for all. Before I got ahead of myself, I went ahead and trained all my Pokemon up to the new level cap and dived right into the Shelly fight. I'll let the Shelly fight speak for itself, but let me tell you, it did not go according to plan.
You like jazz?
At long last, we can finally actually progress through the game. From here, it was just a quick walk to Four Tree City and to the next gym. Oh, I forgot we had to fight May again. Curse you, May! May put up a good fight, but we were just way too prepared for this. We had at least one answer to just about every Pokemon on our team, so we were able to pretty easily breeze through the fight despite it being so difficult by design. Now it was a straight shot from here to Four Tree. There we can fight the 6th gym leader, Winona. Within the Pokemon Emerald community, Winona is known as a Nuzlocke killer. She has an Altaria that can sweep with dragon dances and earthquakes. This is made even worse in this Emerald ROM hack because now it's a double battle. So not only do we have to worry about taking out their stronger mons before they can set up, but they also can Earthquake insta-kill 2 of our Pokemon at once. So we needed a very powerful Pokemon on our team before we could go into this fight. A Pokemon that can hit flying types for super effective damage, while also not being able to be hit by earthquakes. A Pokemon with both strong physical and special attack to be useful in later battles, and preferably one without any of the types we already have on our team. I had a plan. There happens to be a cave just north of Rustboro City, which contains the very powerful pre-evolutions to the very, very powerful Electros. An electric type with Levitate, good attack and special attack, and really good moves against flying types. The Levitate cancels out the weaknesses of the electric type, thus making it the only Pokemon in the game that technically has 0 weaknesses. There's a downside though, as it can't learn that many powerful moves, but the few that it can learn can be put to great use. So I picked up a Mareep with the static ability, so that way we can encounter more lightning Pokemon, making our odds of getting the shiny just that much better. And I got grinding. Over the course of about a week, putting in a few hours a day just trying to catch this shiny Pokemon, I finally got it. And it definitely wasn't a Stunfisk. Hey you, what are you doing here? Get out of here. So I named him Unagi. I came over to Meteor Falls to look for the Dragon Claw TM, and I ended up finding a natural shiny Pharaoh Seed encounter. This is in the same video file in which I found Unagi in, by the way. 2 shinies in the same 20-minute period. Ferrothorn isn't too useful in the upcoming Winona battle, but they do set up Stealth Rock and Spikes incredibly easily, while also being an incredibly good wall. On top of that, they can learn Toxic, which basically invalidated Buggy, unfortunately. It was for the best though. If I had a Bug-type Pokemon while going into a Flying-type gym battle, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. But yeah, after I trained up all my Pokemon, fixed up their stats, I think I was ready for the Winona battle. Wait. What? I don't have footage of the battle? Well, this is awkward. So, since I somehow either deleted or just never recorded this part of the series, I'm just gonna do a little reenactment of it. So join me in the Odyssey of the Mind as we reenact the gym battle. The battle begins as Winona sends out their Hawlucha and their Gyarados. I send out Doug and 24K, the 2 weakest members on our team for this battle. Doug, the speed demon with a life orb, goes for a super powerful overheat on Hawlucha, knocking it out before it can use Tailwind. Gyarados counterattacks with an incredibly powerful Earthquake, knocking out Doug and bringing 24K into the red. 24K survives the blow and sends out Stealth Rocks to attack all their flying types in future turns. Stealth Rocks only do damage when they send in a new Pokemon, but they do a lot of damage to flying types. Now that the Stealth Rocks were set in stone, we could send out Unagi, our secret weapon, and start dealing the big damage. Winona sends out Aerodactyl to replace the fallen Hawlucha, and the next turn begins. Both Electros and Steelix were pretty slow, so I had to endure 2 hits and hope Electros didn't go down instantly. Gyarados went for a Stone Edge, of all things, against Electros, which thankfully didn't crit. And then Aerodactyl went for another Earthquake to finish off 24K. Unagi went for a Discharge and nuked both of Winona's Pokemon. Gyarados survived barely in the red, despite the double super effective Discharge. Luckily, Aerodactyl went down in 1 hit, thanks to a little help from Stealth Rock. The next turn is about to begin, and they send in Dragonite. They send in Dragonite in particular because Dragonite's Dragon type cancels out the weakness of its Flying type. And I send in Digital. I predicted their switch into Dragonite, as that was all part of my master plan. Little did Winona know, I had a Dragon Pulse and an Aurora Beam at the ready. Next turn begins and outspeeds both the Dragonite and the Gyarados, and goes for a super effective Dragon Pulse on Dragonite. Gyarados set up Bounce against what I assume was Sceptile, as Dragonite set up a Tailwind, allowing Electros to shoot at it with an Aurora Beam. The double super effective Aurora Beam, and the Stealth Rocks, and the Dragon Pulse allowed us to finally take out the Dragonite in one fell swoop. After that, they sent out an Emolga, which was going to be a big problem, because you see, it has the Motor Drive ability. So using Discharge at all will usually do absolutely nothing, and in fact just make Emolga even stronger. The next turn began with me keeping Digital in, so that way I could use their turn to use a healing item on Unagi to keep them into play. This way I can keep Eelektross in until they bring out their Altaria. With the new Tailwind, both of their Pokemon outsped mine. Gyarados came crashing down and absolutely obliterated Digital, and the Emolga used a super powerful Hurricane on Eelektross, which thankfully anticlimactically missed. I sent in Ziggy to replace Digital and used Extreme Speed the next turn to just take out the Gyarados before it became an issue. The Emolga then used what I think was Air Slash against Ziggy. This left an opening for Eelektross to use an Aurora Beam against Emolga without consequence. It did decent damage, but it was nowhere near strong enough to take him out. When the turn ended, they swapped in their terrifying Altaria to replace the Gyarados. And now it was time for our final dance with Winona to commence. I swapped out Ziggy with Spike, our Ferrothorn, and their Altaria Mega Evolved. Emolga used Air Slash on Ferrothorn, dealing pretty decent chip damage. Altaria then used their trademark super powerful Earthquake and took Ferrothorn down to the red already. Unagi was completely unaffected though. Once again, Unagi was left completely unchallenged and could thus do a bit of extra chip damage to Emolga. Taking out Emolga as soon as possible was important, as none of my other team members could do decent damage against it, and without an Emolga, the Altaria would be left defenseless. The next turn began with me using up Ferrothorn's turn to use a revive on 24k. Emolga then used Hurricane on Eelektross, this time it hit him, but thankfully not confusing, and then Altaria's Earthquake took out Spike. And then finishing off the round, Unagi finally took out Emolga with an Aurora Beam. This left Winona with only one Pokemon to fight back with, and that was the Mega Altaria. True, we did have two Pokemon still in play, but their Altaria has a really powerful attacking build, so just one unlucky crit or one Dragon Dance could be enough to put an end to my attempt at this gym battle. The next turn begins as Ziggy does what Ziggy does and uses Extreme Speed. It did decent chip damage, but the Altaria retaliated with an extremely powerful return. Ziggy was instantly put in the red. Unagi returned said damage using another double super effective Aurora Beam. It was really powerful and brought the Altaria down to near half HP, but it wasn't enough to take them out. Then I remembered we still had 24k because I used a revive. Since Ziggy wasn't going to do any good damage to them, I decided to use their turn to heal up 24k to full HP, so that way I can survive with a Sturdy and retaliate with a Rock Slide once again. Altaria, of course with the free opportunity, used Earthquake to knock out Ziggy. So funnily enough, my plan to use 24k as death fodder was actually completely thwarted by Unagi's sheer power. Unagi landed a critical hit double super effective Aurora Beam, which actually took out Altaria before I could do anything cool. So, good job I guess, Unagi, good job. Why am I even here? Unagi can just press A and do my job. Dude, if Pokemon were real, sorry, Stoner Thought, just for a second. Uncut Stoner Thought. What if Pokemon were real, and instead of actually using them to do cool Pokemon battles and saving the planet, we just made them do hard labor? Like, dude, I would love a Pokemon that just edits videos. Anyways, back to the video. So yeah, woohoo, we beat Winona, we can use HM Fly, and now shiny hunting is that much easier. Now we just need a Pokemon to learn Fly. I wonder where we can find one of those. Oh, there's one. And we caught it. Well, that was easy. Not gonna lie, I kinda regret ever complaining about the shiny odds. Sure, I may have spent several hours trying to shiny hunt a few specific ones, but I just get this lucky sometimes. So I guess there's no real room to complain here. In order to progress through Pokemon Emerald's storyline, we'll have to go to Mount Pyre and defeat some Team Aqua members. The rest of the Team Aqua members were a piece of cake, but the admin, like, why did anyone think this would be okay? A Drizzle Pelipper in front to set up for their entire Water and Lightning type team. This means their water types are not only stab boosted because of their water type Pokemon, but they're also boosted by Rain Dance. On top of all that, they also have certain abilities like Swift Swim, which allow them to be faster during rain, and Dry Skin, which allows them to heal over time in the rain. So they have bulky, powerful, and fast Pokemon that can take out Pokemon even if they have super effective attacks against them. So how did I beat them, you may ask? Well, you'll find out in the next episode, hey! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do you guys dirty by ending this one super early, but I straight up, I took too long making this video, if I'm being honest. That is on me, because I forgot my footage for a very important part of the video. So that's on me, because I had to go recreate all of that just because I did something stupid. On the bright side, the next episode of the series will be very easy to produce, because now I'll know how to do it faster, better, and more efficiently. Oh, also, I am making a new video really soon, which is going to be my pitch to the Realm of the Mad God dev team for a new dungeon boss fight. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you later.